Welcome to 5D Channels and Chats with Rachel Chamness. As a shamanic channel and mentor, I'll be sharing wisdom and healing from higher dimensions through channeling beings of light. You will also hear liquid Reiki shamanic sound healing, channels between intuitives, and discussion on higher dimensional healing and channeling. You'll find links and more in the show notes, so be sure to check them. You can find me at soundwavesheal.com and my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions. Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Chamness at Sound Waves Heal. I'm a shamanic channel and mentor, and today I want to bring forth a new being who has stepped forward for me to channel him. His name is Zabayo, and he is a Zeta-Arcturian hybrid, and he tells me that he's bringing us tales of the universe. I'll be bringing him through with trance channeling, which means that he will speak through me. He's really very interesting. He's funny and silly. And when I asked him if he would come through and talk about ascension, he said no. He said we had plenty of information about that already. And there are many people bringing through these messages from galactic beings about what's happening now. And he thinks that you all would be better served to hear about stories from the universe, which he says will actually help us by understanding the universe better. So I'm really excited to bring him through for you. He tells me he is the keeper of information. He carries a briefcase, and that's supposed to be the symbol of the information he carries for us. I am Zabayo. Are you there? I am pleased to be coming through this channel, whom I have selected to bring my messages and stories going forward. I introduce myself. I am Zabayo, and yes, I am a hybrid, as you would call me, Zeta-Arcturian, and I am, of course, of high light. I resonate in what you would consider the sixth dimension. I'm here to help those who wish to come up to ascension, as you call it, come to a higher dimension. I'm here to assist you. However, I would like to assist you in a different way. I would like to tell you my grand stories of the universe, for these will help you understand your universe and your plane of existence and how it will change. There was a planet far into the galaxy, very far from here, past the Andromedan galaxy. And in this planet or place was a very small planet. We will call it Zip, for it has no English name, earthly name. It was a small planet, very small. It did not have the surface area that yours does. And the colors of this planet were more blue, gray, white, and some orange, as I show it to this human. Of course, the way that you see colors is so perspective-wise different than I am building a scene here, and so I use the colors to help you see or feel this planet. If you were to come to this planet as a third dimensional human, you would say, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's no beings here. It is desolate and quiet. And that is because you'd be looking at the surface, when in fact, all of the inhabitants are underground. And underground, you'd find many colors, many beautiful colors. You'd find a warmth that you would consider a sunlight. And you'd find light, and you'd find dirt, and you'd find plants, and you'd find beings of all kinds. You'd find open air markets and more nature-like settings to dwellings or homes. You'd find more community. You'd find smaller communities as well. Not as much population as you would find on your planet, which is quite frankly overpopulated. The beings here are cheerful. They are safe. There is another part of this planet that you can't see, and that is a protection of the surface. If you were to come to the surface of this planet looking for a place to live, a place to build community, a place to start afresh on a new planet that's not polluted, you would find this one not to be very conducive to that. In fact, there are metals in the air, mercury for one, and other similar poisonous vapors in the air, and nothing would grow as it's mostly stone and not much dirt, and you would find it inhospitable, would not be able to handle the surface for long as a third-dimensional creature. There are also other protections at play. A feeling you would get. You would feel unsettled. You would feel creeped out. That's a good one. Yes, that's how you would feel. You would wonder, what is wrong with this planet? It is so silent and there is nothing living in it, even if you could handle the atmosphere. And if you persisted beyond that, you would feel like everything you build on this planet to try to sustain life would crumble, would fall apart, would create much frustration. And so eventually you would pack it up and you would leave. Or perhaps, as many did, you would just leave it. Leave what you tried to build and escape and never look back. This is a type of security that this planet has. And once the invading species has left the vicinity, then everything they left would also just dissipate into nothing. For a while, the surface appears to be a third-dimensional surface. There is much fifth dimensionality at play. Once you are in a higher space of what you are calling dimensions in the fifth dimension, things can be manifested or unmanifested or changed or transmuted quite easily with just a thought. Meanwhile, underground, you have a teeming life and beautiful connections, and life here is a beautiful space. There is no invading creature. There is no fourth dimensional beings like you have trying to take over. And there was once. However, they managed to bring in some higher dimensional help. And I was there at that time, or we set up this system. There is so much about where you are going that you don't understand. I hope with some of these stories of how other places work, you can begin to understand the nature of the universe and the way that it works. And so I'll tell you the story of Thran, who lives beneath the surface of this planet. Thran manages something akin to a fish market. It's not quite fish. However, for your benefit and your thoughts, we'll call it that. And Thran sells this important food substance to the market, to the people, to the beings who live in the area. Here, there is no money exchange. They live in harmony, each with their own job. And those who feel lost without knowing what kind of job to do are taken upon a system where they work in many different jobs as an apprentice until they find the one that works. And now I hear this medium asking me, and what about those who do not wish to work? Those who have problems with working and could be a problem in this system? And the answer is, then they enter into another program to find these problems and to have space, truly to have space. There is a home for everyone. There is all the necessities of living for everyone and food for everyone. And this person can sit and speak with a counselor and work with healers until they feel better. There are not many of these in this system, in this world, but if it happens, there is space for them to just be. In your world, there is much less space for this. There is much judgment. And there's much insistence that the person or the being must know and do. But here there are, most of the beings are working, they are doing, they are being, they are enjoying their work. And so they set a good example of happy life, working what you wish. And so those who do not know or who have trouble functioning are so far and few between that they may take their time. to discover this, and they will see all the others happily working. And back to our story, Thran was one of these beings, lost as a young being, as a young person, we'll use the word, lost, not knowing what to do, not feeling as if he fit in. This was a pretty unusual feeling in this world. And so many helped. Many showed kindness. They did not turn him away or insist he do his share of the work. No, they did special things for him. They came with baked treats and to sit a while and speak with him. They became friendlier. They helped in ways that they could, not trying to make him be or make him see, but to support, to be a friend, to help him discover. And there was one older being or person who came and visited once or twice a week, who had the same business that Thran has now, selling the fish or similar product. Offering it, I should say, for it really wasn't for sale, as there was no money in this place, but you get the picture. And he would come and sit, and he would tell Thran stories of how you can think of it as fished, and how he enjoyed the solitude and the silence, and how it brought him great joy to then bring this beautiful product to the market and choose which one would go home with which person who came to bring it home for dinner, and how it filled him with joy. And this man or person, however you think of, wasn't the only one. There were others who came and told Thran stories of why they loved their work. And it wasn't about pushing Thran to do their work, but to hope that the perspective of the story would help Thran. And Thran really resonated with this fisherman's story of how he procured the fish, as we'll call it. And so he began to feel that he wanted to do the same. And so he began to apprentice with the old man, the old person, the old being. These words are hard to come up with. And so he did. And eventually he took over the market as the man became elderly and became part of the elderly community of wisdom and retirement, as you may call it, enjoyment of more time at the end of their life. And Thran realized that while he didn't feel that any job was his before, because he didn't feel like it resonated with him, the fishing or the procuring of this type of food was so silent and meditative that it was what he was searching for all along. And so this had a happy ending. And why do I tell you this? Because many times in your life, you may be using an outdated third dimensional feeling of judgment towards someone who is not part of society in the way that is expected. And yet here is a story of a place, and it's a true story, of a place that nourishes and supports those who feel lost. And instead of pushing and judging and pressuring, they provide space and comfort and encouragement from the heart. And Thran has made a beautiful contribution to his society. And he has a beautiful family, beautiful life, and he finds much happiness in his work. These are changes you may feel now strongly you wish to see in the 3D world, but that is not the point of this story. For as you leave this third dimensional space, you will find more stories like this, more understanding. And here's a helpful way to get there, is to look at your own judgment in your own life and catch yourself and do better. I hope you enjoyed this Tales from the Universe today. It is my pleasure to get to know you. I'm sure as time goes on, I will come up with better terms for people, beings, men. We shall find our language together. I am pleased to speak with you today. And remember to come back and hear more stories, for I have many to tell. I am Zabayo. Well, that was cool. I have to tell you, I was really nervous. Like, what would happen? Would the story be good? And I knew I'd have to do a really deep trance to get it out. So I did. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear what you thought. And thanks for listening. And thank you, Zabayo. I'm Rachel Chamness at Soundwaves Heal. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you are a healer or spiritual entrepreneur, present or future, I'd like to invite you to my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions, where I'll be live for more discussion and questions on Thursdays. I'll put the link in the show notes. I'm Rachel Chamness at Soundwaves Heal.